everybody, I'm Laura. So I wanted to show you a project that I have been working on and for one of my most favorite plants. So this is a plant that I bought for my birthday a couple of years ago, my variegated Monstera plant, which the mother plant is actually right here. And so I bought it from a seller online, I think it was Glasshouse Works, and it took a couple of weeks to get here, came in really good shape. It took me a while to find a spot that it liked. I had it in areas where it was easy for me to see and enjoy it, but I think that maybe it didn't get enough light, so therefore some of the variegation kind of went away. Or not went away on the existing leaves, but the new leaves were, there was a lot of green. So this, like I said, is a mother plant. So these are some of the older leaves, and it's never been super variegated. I've never had a leaf that has been entirely white, unfortunately. Although I've heard that the leaves that are entirely white usually don't survive. So a couple of months ago, I moved it. I said, I gotta get this thing going. And so I ended up moving it into my office, which is where I am right now. And this is a north-facing window over here. Excuse the mess. And then this is a west-facing window over here. So initially I put it here, and it did okay. But then one day I just felt like moving my plant collection over here, and I think that the plant is a little bit happier here. So there's actually two vines on this plant. They're all tangled up. There's a ton of aerial roots here, but so one vine is pretty green, and the other vine is the one that has the variegation. So and actually some of the lower leaves has some scale on it. So scale is an insect that I'm not particularly afraid of with a lot of my plants. It's kind of annoying, but it tends not to spread. So, I just take a little, I either use my fingernail or a little alcohol wipe and just kind of just flick it off. It's kind of gross, but it's better than mealybugs. So anyways, so I moved this plant over here, or when I moved it into this room right by a window, it actually started putting out a ton of new growth, and all of the growth had some variegation. So this, well, you can't really see it, but anyways, so I think it's been doing really well. And the other thing that I did when I moved it is I cut both of the vines back. So one of the newer leaves on the variegated vine had also sort of reverted to green leaves. So I cut it back below that, and then what has grown since then has been variegated. I actually had a leaf, you can kind of see it, that would have been half white, but I got a little bit too enthusiastic, and I was looking at it when it was a baby and I broke it off. So I was actually really devastated about that, and but I have survived. But so what I did do, and this is what I wanted to show you, so I cut this, so this was the piece that I cut back on the variegated vine. And so you can see down here that this leaf is entirely green. This leaf has a little bit of variegation, and then this leaf, which this was the last one when I cut it off, was entirely green. So when I cut it off and I put it into water, it immediately put off this little variegated leaf. So of course I was pretty psyched. The other cutting I took, so it was all green. This was from the other vine. I rooted it and I gave it to a friend. So we'll see how that goes. I didn't tell her that it was a very special plant because I have a feeling no more white will come out of it. But anyways. So what my plan is, so this has been rooting for probably about I don't know, 3 months. And I think maybe I let it go too far because check out these roots. So, but I am planning on repotting it today. I haven't, so like I said, it immediately put out this new leaf here. And since then, it really hasn't done anything. There's really no signs of any impending growth. So it's obviously not getting any nutrients in this water. It's definitely getting a lot of sun. I actually have it in a south-facing window. But my plan today is to put it into some dirt and some good quality, well-draining potting soil, and then to put it back in that south-facing window. And then, my experiment will be to kind of see where it likes it. Does it like it over here in the west-facing window, which, again, the plant seems to be pretty happy. The vine, the variegated vine, also has a new leaf coming out of it, which is pretty exciting. And or does it like to be in a south-facing window? And so when I say a south-facing window, I also mean a with filtered light. It doesn't like to get too much light, and it would get sunburned otherwise. So I wanted to show you that. I was thinking, and I'll give you a little indication of what I want to do, but I really like these white terracotta pots. They're cheap. If you see, it was $2.50. They're a little hard to find. I have to go to a certain garden center, but when I go, I usually buy a lot. They must think I'm pretty crazy plant lady, which I guess maybe I am. But so I was thinking about putting it in here, and I think that that would look pretty cool, especially with the white on the leaves and the white here. And I probably won't feed it right away because theoretically there's enough nutrients in the soil that I'll put it in. But I think I am going to try to start fertilizing my plants a little bit more. Right now I use some time-released little beads, and I think that they work pretty well, but certain plants like to be fed more often, and I think I'm going to pay a little bit more attention. And especially the plants that put out a lot of new growth, which this plant does, I feel like maybe they need some more nutrients. So I'll let you know how that goes. The other thing I wanted to ask you about, so I purchased this plant as a Monstera albo deliciosa. And based on my not so extensive reading and internet research, I'm wondering if it might actually be a Monstera albo borsigiana. So if you see that these leaves are actually fairly small. Monstera deliciosas, they tend, especially the mature plants, tend to have really large leaves, but also the deliciosas tend to have a little telltale ruffle on the back of their leaves, and this plant does not. And so that, I guess, is one way that you can tell between the deliciosas and the borsigianas. I know I'm pronouncing it wrong. The only thing is that with younger plants, it can be hard to tell. Usually it's the mature Monstera plants that do develop those ruffles there. But I do have a mature Monstera deliciosa that's downstairs. It's my plant that has mealybugs, so I don't usually move it. Also, it weighs about 70 pounds. But they do have those little ruffles. And so this plant, like I said, I think I bought it in 2017 maybe, so it's been 3 years, and the leaves definitely have the fenestrations, which are another good indicator that it's relatively mature. I mean, obviously it's not that old, but there's no ruffles anywhere to be seen. So I was wondering if the YouTube community could tell me what they think about this plant. Also, let me know what you think about my plan for this pot and repotting it, and if you have one, and if you have any care tips. So thanks for watching. Bye now.